Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Outside the Box. This is episode number 2. This is a podcast where we talk about things that matter to us, like cutting-edge conspiracy theories and international and domestic politics. My name's Andrew. I'm just a regular kid from Salt Lake City, Utah, and today I have Erik, Spencer, and Dax with me. How's everybody's week going?
It's going good.
Everybody,
it's going great.
Say hello.
Yeah, amazing.
Good. Dax is having a really good week so far. It's Monday.
Yep, it's great. I hate
Good.
Mondays.
Anybody have any funny stories to share from the weekend?
Well, Spencer and I went to Denver, Colorado to go visit, well, not to visit anyone, but to go see Kendrick Lamar live concert.
That we were visiting.
How was
Kendrick
it?
Lamar. So dope.
So dope.
Oh my god.
It was pretty wild. There was this drunk girl who fell on her face on the floor outside the venue.
Dude, that's
Oh yeah.
Kind of interesting.
I forgot. I saw that.
Yeah.
And then also there's like this 13-year-old girl sitting in front of us who was trying to twerk the entire time. And she's like, please stop.
Oh yeah, and she was also like maybe 100 pounds, which I'm not skinny shaming, but
yeah, she
girl needs to
basically
learn how
what
to
we're
watch
saying.
stuff.
Yeah.
So
Dax, what did you do this
But it
weekend?
was a 10 out of 10 concert.
I hung out with someone yesterday. Had a really good time. Went hiking. It was really fun. We spent like 15 hours hanging out. It was crazy.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, it was really fun.
just looking at your legs, Daxton, I can see that you went hiking.
Yeah, I got sunburned pretty bad. My legs were in the sun a lot, and we were on this rock up pretty high. And
Like hot dogs.
it was actually really fun.
Looks like you were wearing long socks.
Yeah, I was actually.
That sock line
Right on.
gets all the girls going.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Daddy, please.
So last week, I really liked the hypothetical section where we, discussed a couple of questions like, would we rather be uglier or less intelligent? I think those were really fun. This is a question that I think is really interesting. I think, let's say that you had the potential to receive $1 million every month or every year?
Every month.
Every month.
Every month.
Yeah.
But within that month, for a random 24-hour period within that month, you are forced to go into hiding because you're the most wanted person in the world. Literally everybody is looking after you. Like every government, like every police force, military.
Is the Illuminati after us?
For the purpose of this question, why not? So first, I guess the first question is, would you do it? We can just go down the line.
Would I have the $1 million the first month?
You would not.
Okay.
So the first month is really tough.
Let's say you get it after those 24 hours you survive.
Will I get notified beforehand?
Let's go with 3 hours warning.
So I'm given 3 hours warning
Yes.
to disappear for
Yes.
24. I'd do it. Easy mode.
Same here.
Would you?
Yeah.
Absolutely. 3 hours, that's plenty of time. Seriously, all you do is just all right, and you just go walk off into the mountains somewhere.
Okay.
Nobody has any idea.
I would do the same.
I think it'd be too much anxiety, and I wouldn't be able to think straight because I have the whole world after me. I would say no. It's just too much on me. I don't think I could handle that.
I have another question.
I'd go for it.
Yeah.
How does the FBI, CIA have unlimited amount of resources in order to find me, or is it the resources and budgetary discrepancies that they have right now?
Let's go with the resources and budgetary discrepancies, at least for the first few months. We can decide to kind of ramp up the difficulty as you get more money. So let's say it's literally if you were the FBI's most wanted person.
FBI's.
That's pretty easy mode, I think.
I mean, what's his name? Osama bin Laden was in the FBI's most wanted for 5 years.
Dude, he was hiding in a compound in Pakistan,
easy
in plain
mode.
sight.
It's basically what he did.
Under your conditions, he would have over $100 million.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So if
so
he can do it, I can.
So that settles the first question. Erik and Spencer say yes. Dax says no, it's not worth the money, not worth the stress, which I think is really interesting. I think I'd do it. Money talks.
Money does
Why not?
talk. So I guess this begs the question, how would you do it? Spencer says that he would just walk into the woods and disappear.
Yeah, who the fuck is gonna find me? In my because I know the mountains very, very well.
But they know you're in Utah.
Okay, but I don't care.
Search parties.
You don't care, but the FBI does.
Search parties like no other, bro.
they're
Think about
scouring.
how long it has taken to find people who they know their general area of where they're at even.
But they don't have the resources of the FBI or the CIA at Americans Most Wanted.
It could be something as stupid as a backpacker just happens to see you and call the cops.
Yeah,
but also,
would
would that backpacker know?
Yeah.
I guess if they did an
FBI
Amber
Most
Alert,
Wanted.
Yeah,
If
but
they
I mean,
did, an
honestly,
Amber Alert
I
thing.
couldn't tell you who the fuck is on FBI's most wanted list.
Okay,
But
but
what
I
if-
think there would be an Amber Alert of sorts.
Yeah, what if there was an Amber Alert specifically for the FBI or CIA? They could easily do that. Just be there's a 5 foot something white, blue-eyed, blonde / brunette male that is
Dude,
in
you might
this
as well
general
hide in plain
city.
sight, yeah.
This general
In Utah.
city
But I
mean,
in Utah.
Regardless, like think about like high-profile suspects recently. I mean, like in recent years, and like think about how long it's taken to find them in some cases.
Yeah.
Like even when they know exactly who they are, and like
Osama bin Laden.
yeah, in the United States even and look at how long it's taken them to catch them or find them.
Yeah.
Like I feel like my chances would be pretty damn good.
Was it El Chapo that got out of prison or like escaped?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
It was.
Dude, he was a straight baller.
Yeah,
Actually,
he was.
like this weekend,
Nuts.
there were 15 or so prisoners in Alabama that all escaped.
Yeah,
from prison.
there's one that's
Yeah.
still...
one still at large.
See, exactly.
So I think that to combat Spencer's argument about it being too easy, what if you're the most wanted man for a week every month? Would you still do it?
Assuming that I had more time to prepare, obviously.
Let's say you have a day. You have a day to prepare.
Oh yeah, no, that's plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
I know I know plenty of places I could go.
To see you like getting gas for your car, like driving away somewhere,
Okay,
etc.
I'm not gonna be using my card though. Like if they give me a day to prepare, like first thing I'm doing is I'm going directly to an ATM and withdrawing as much money as I possibly can.
Yeah.
So for me, that would be 2 cents. Just kidding. I'm a high baller. $2.
Wait, so what happens if you get caught though? What's the
You
reward?
go to prison for life.
What's the reward for that person who caught you though?
Oh shit.
That's a good question.
Honestly,
That'll-
because if Spencer did it and the reward was $500,000, if it was $20, I would turn Spencer in.
I can actually
Yeah,
go
you
and
can
look
get
at
fined.
what the reward for FBI Most Wanted is right now.
Ooh.
Like
give or
literally
take.
all I do is I leave my cell phone.
That's a good move. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, no, you leave your cell phone somewhere, withdraw all the money you possibly can from your bank account, and you don't even use your car.
Take a bus, Greyhound,
Something like that.
and then you put a mask on. You know, like those. No, I was thinking like Scream mask, but that was just making it more. You put on some makeup so you look older.
I think even
There you
better,
go.
like you create like a diversion. Like I think we talked about at one point how we'd like buy a plane ticket on our name.
Oh yeah, I said that.
Yeah.
I said
That's actually a good
I thought
idea.
that was really interesting. Do you set up a decoy?
Obviously.
Always have like some sort of contingency there.
Or no, here's what I would do actually. I would buy a few different bus tickets because bus tickets are cheaper than plane tickets, you know? And then it's harder for them to verify like whether or not you're actually on that bus or not.
Yeah.
Because like if you buy a plane ticket somewhere, it's not going to take them that long to check in with the airline and be like, all right, hey, did this person check in? Did this person actually get on the flight?
Oh,
you know?
true.
Whereas with bus, like the communication is a lot more.
greatly reduced.
Yep.
Point.
That's
a really
great.
good point.
That's a good strategy. I think you'd beat me out, Spencer.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you.
So Andrew, did you find the numbers for FBI's Most Wanted?
It's loading right now. So I guess while that's happening, let's ask the question of like, what's your breaking point? When do you say no?
I don't.
You don't?
I would probably say no if the price overall decreased. I would say about $200,000.
I think it would just be fun.
You think it would just be fun? Okay.
Life
Sounds
in prison.
interesting.
That's the.
I wouldn't go to prison.
That's the opportunity
I wouldn't
cost.
get caught.
You wouldn't
Besides,
get
if I was
so
gonna get-
sure. Rest of your life. That means that 24-hour periods. The rest of your life. I can do the math, but I'm too lazy. That's like literally 3 years. That's 3 years of your life on the run from the FBI. I just did the math in my head.
You're so smart.
Give or take a few years.
It looks like the rewards for information leading to their arrest, it's up to $10 million.
Oh,
It depends.
That's a lot
yeah.
of money. I mean, this could be like a viable business strategy.
I'd write any of you off.
You just struck upon like every bounty hunter's
Yeah.
business.
I mean,
strategy.
like, they're mostly just people who are like connected with ISIS, which is really funny because Russia said they killed ISIS's leader like 4 months ago, but they haven't been able to confirm it, which is really interesting.
No, they confirmed that. Like,
Did they?
Like recently, yeah. No, recently.
Okay,
That's
so
very interesting.
I have a question.
Okay.
Would you rather forget who you were as a person or who everyone else around you was? So, like, it's like some Men in Black type shit
Oh,
where they
okay.
come in with a mind eraser and they erase your mind. You either forget who you are completely as a person, you still have your basic language skills, you still have blah, 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 but you don't have a personality or anything. You have no idea who you are. Or would you rather forget every single important person or non-important person around you?
I would rather forget who I am. Easier to rebuild my life from that than having to get to know everybody that I've already spent years getting to know, right? Because like even if I forget who I am, like if I still know other people, although I feel like if you forgot who you were, you would forget those friendships as well, because like, you know,
Because they are who you are.
But I mean, like, I guess if you're just limiting it, your sense of identity of who you are, yeah, I'd much rather forget who I am.
How about you, Daxton?
That one's a hard one because if I'm going to forget about myself, then I'm going to find a new person to be, right? So I'm going to be seeing, like, all the media, like YouTube videos and all this, and seeing how those people will act and everything, and then I'll start, like, getting into something I probably wouldn't want to get in. It'll just be toxic. But then on the other hand, you are losing all these years with all these... I mean, can you gain those years back being friends with them all over again, or losing all the years you had before?
So that's a good point.
So
I wouldn't be able to tell you because...
I'm kind of in the middle of it, but I think I would forget everyone around me.
How about you, Andrew?
Well, when you think about like forgetting who you are, clearly the implication is that you are a blank slate, but does that necessarily mean that the new personality, I guess, like do you
Personify.
Well, do you develop a new personality? Is it, do you have like an inherent personality, or is it shaped by the people around you? Is it just developed by growing? Do you have a new personality? Am I suddenly just an entirely different person?
Well, I'd be able to answer that question if I knew how personalities originated from. Intrinsic and also shaped by the people around you. So in a sense, yes. Let's just say that you have 10 points right now of who you are, personality-wise, and when it happens, you get 2 points of who you are. And the other 8 have to be shaped by your actions or by people that occur. Because, I mean, if you're an introvert, right now, and you get wiped, you're still a little bit of an introvert, but you can turn into an extrovert, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I guess I would rather forget who I am, because I would trust the people around me to kind of walk me through and teach me how to be who I am.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
I mean, that's a little scary in itself, because you don't want anybody shaping who you are, but at the same time,
my friends, you know?
Yeah, I would believe them if I remember who they are, right?
But I would probably rather forget who I was as a human. Probably for the same reason that y'all had.
Can we do one more hypothetical?
Yeah, of course.
I like this one. If a close friend murdered someone for a good reason, but you couldn't go to the police, how would you dispose of the body, or would you turn them in?
I would love to start this off. I have a few things that I do to dispose of the body. Number 1, cut off every single finger and toe, but only from the second joint up. Next, remove every single tooth out of the person's mouth. Then, take those individual parts, put them in a drum of acid. As long as it has like pH less than like 2, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Then, right, wherever we murdered them or wherever we cut up the bodies, put bleach all over it. Get rid of the blood. Get rid of that. Then create an alibi, right? We have to have an alibi for the person. Once we have completed all that, we start cutting up the body, right? Actually, you clean after the alibi. You cut up all the body. You cut it up into 16 individual pieces, put them in parcels, and then you dispose of each single... What?
Dexter.
What? It's true. This is what you do in order to like cover up a murder. If you've ever seen How to Get Away with Murder, check it out, Netflix. But you put them into parcel boxes or into like it literally doesn't matter as long as they're wrapped up. Then you dispose of each individual piece into separate different containers that are at least 4 miles apart. Actually, 7 miles apart, just to be safe.
Brilliant.
And
I actually think you'd get away with it.
What do you do with the liquefied toes and fingers? Well, let me tell you.
Make a smoothie.
No, you don't make a smoothie. Oh my god. You go up into the mountains.
Feed them to bears.
You dispose of it there. That way it's untraceable.
Interesting.
Would I get away with it?
I think
you tell me.
I think you would.
God damn it, Spencer.
I think you would. What about you, Dax? Would you do it? Would you turn him in?
No.
If I killed someone, would you turn me in?
No. I'd just cremate the body for you and then just forget it all happened.
How do you cremate the body?
burn it.
In a
How
car.
do you burn it?
Fire.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
No shit.
Take it into the mountains. Make a fire.
In the middle of summer, when Utah has such high fire rates,
Even better.
Yeah, honestly, even better. Like they
can
find the
recover-
body.
They can recover that.
Yeah, but they find the body and
You're not
it's
gonna
charred beyond recognition, and they probably won't even think of anything of it other than try to figure out who it is.
Just put some beer bottles
Dental
there.
record. Dental records. That's
Dude,
why you
remove
get rid of
the
the
teeth.
teeth.
Yeah, remove the teeth.
Always have to remove the teeth.
Yeah.
The fingertips and toe tips are just a precaution.
Okay, but like,
Amateur hour.
I know.
but like, a fire like that would pretty much destroy. Like they'd probably figure out like the person was murdered in the autopsy, you know. But
Fire
like,
has to be hot,
yeah,
so it probably has to be
it would have to be like.
synthetic, right? Those get hotter. I don't know. Like,
fuck are you saying?
like not like by wood. That's what I mean.
Okay.
By like gas,
Interesting.
gasolina.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Is that your final answer, Dax? You disagree, man?
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on that?
So wait, how was the person killed? Because that depends. That determines my answer.
So let's say, for the purpose of the question, that you get to help decide how the person was killed.
Oh, easy.
Okay.
How do you kill him?
Shoot him.
With
And
what?
With a gun, you
I
idiot.
know with a gun, but what kind of
It
gun?
could have been a bow and arrow.
Yeah, or a knife. I don't know how you shoot a knife, but you shoot a
Yeah,
knife.
ballistic knife on
Yeah,
Call of Duty.
ballistic knife on
Oh,
Call of
exactly,
Duty.
exactly.
Why not?
Okay, yeah, no, you shoot them through the neck. The bullet doesn't get lodged in them, and you take the bullet and the casing. You make sure to take the casing.
Always take the casing.
Because that's what's going to give you away. So you murder them that way, and then you're good.
Wait, what if someone hears the bullet?
You-
Like, here's the
How are they
gunshot.
gonna-
Here's the
Okay, I was gonna
gunshot.
say, how the fuck are they going to
Oh
hear the
my
bullet?
Silencer,
you idiot?
noob.
How do you
Duh,
get a
how-
silencer?
Okay, well, first
You
off,
can't just go to Walmart and buy a silencer,
Dude,
Andrew.
go to the gun store.
You can't
say
go to
you
the-
know a guy.
You can't go to the gun store and just buy a silencer. That's not how it
Dude,
works.
Just walk in,
I
just like,
watched a
hey.
movie recently. It happened.
No.
They said, "What would Dominic have to say about that?" And then they got the suppressor.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
amazing.
dang, that sounds legit. So if
Ask for
you're telling me,
Dominic.
if I go to a gun store, I'm like, I want to talk to Dominic.
Dude, everybody
Just
knows
hand me a
Dominic.
gun.
You can also
Everybody
buy.
knows Dominic.
You can also buy RPGs through Dominic.
Who's Dominic?
You
You
tell
don't
me
know
know
who
Dominic?
Dominic is? Get out.
Oh my
You're done.
god.
You're done.
Oh my god.
You're fired.
Dude, that's so inside the box.
That's
Yeah,
not
dude.
good.
That's so inside
Okay.
the box.
So is it my turn?
Yeah, Andrew.
We're
you-
gonna
Wait,
take it-
I'm not even done
Oh,
with
okay,
my
okay,
answer.
sorry,
Come
sorry,
on,
sorry.
guys. Take them out to the middle of the wilderness in the middle of the night. Shoot them through the neck. That way, you make sure that you can retrieve the bullet. Because that's the other problem. Is that's how they catch you. They find the bullet, search it for fingerprints and DNA, right?
Why didn't you just wear gloves?
No, that's part of it too. That's the next part I was going to get to. Like literally, you make sure you never touch the the gun or the bullet with your bare hands. Right? You're always wearing gloves or something, and then you break the gun up into different pieces and you spread it out across basically the state. So you'll like put one piece in like one dumpster in the middle of like West Valley or some shit like that, you know, and then another piece somewhere else. And you do that. Because that way, even if they somehow somehow you forget the casing or something like that, they still won't be able to trace it back to the gun that it came from because the gun is now in pieces all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Also, get rid of the serial number on the gun itself.
Dude,
Exactly.
file it off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very
No,
difficult.
it would be so easy. It
Interesting.
would be so easy.
Okay, how about you, Andrew?
I'm going to take this one a little outside the box.
Oh shit.
I think what you should do is consult with your friend first. Let's research active serial killers right now.
Oh shit.
Oh.
And it could be even like a dormant serial killer who just hasn't been captured or arrested yet. And you fabricate, like, essentially frame the serial killer. And so, like, say you take, like, I don't know exactly, like, the MO of the Zodiac killer, but you essentially just fabricate or make the murder seem identical to what a Zodiac killer or serial killer at large murder would look like. At that point, they're going to attribute it to the serial killer, unlikely to your friend, but you have to be perfect. That's the hard part. Otherwise, it looks like a copycat.
Well, maybe hard to be perfect for you.
Oh, that would be an interesting way to do it.
Yeah, that's a good.
It's not foolproof, but
That's a good strat, I think.
yeah.
I think that's a really good strategy in order to not get caught.
So now we are getting into the good stuff. We are about to enter the conspiracy zone. In this segment, we talk about conspiracies that are typically out of the ordinary. We debate the validity of the conspiracy and see if it could potentially be true. hold on to your pants, because this week we are going to talk about how Saddam Hussein had a Stargate. Love this theory. And just, again, by no means do we mean to offend anybody with this segment. It's just for fun. It's just interesting looking at these subjects through the extraordinary perspective. So Saddam Hussein had a Stargate. First off, does somebody want to explain exactly what the theory is?
Yeah, I'll explain it.
Cool.
So this conspiracy has a really, really unique and interesting perspective on one of the biggest national tragedies of American history, at least of American modern history. So to begin, we're going to start with what a Stargate is. It's most commonly referred to as an Einstein-Rosen bridge, where it uses wormholes in order to travel interdimensionally, using Einstein's basic theory of relativity and thought that space is like a blanket. Basically, you can fold and manipulate a blanket, right? And if you can cut a hole through one side of the blanket and end up on the other side of the blanket. This intergalactic travel was popularized by multiple films. I even think it was popularized by a specific TV show. So the journey of Hussein's Stargate starts about 3,800 years before the birth of Christ.
Dude, he's that old?
Yeah. Saddam is that old.
No way.
With this planet called
Nibiru.
Thank you, Spencer.
The Anunnaki.
The Anunnakis. So basically, the whole ideology is that there's this planet that exists as part of our solar system, but its elliptical orbit falls outside of it. Basically, what happens is that every few hundreds or even tens of thousands of years, the planet eventually gets close enough to Earth that there can be interplanetary travel. Well, about 3,800 years before the birth of Christ, or the presumed birth of Christ, this planet was really close to the Earth. And there is some kind of basis for for this planet or Planet X being actually in the solar system, because there's some discrepancies between the orbits of Uranus and Neptune, which could possibly explain that. But I mean, if you really if you crunch the numbers and look at simulation models, it actually makes sense. Anyway, what basically happened was that there was these aliens that managed to make their way onto Earth, specifically onto the human civilization called the Sumerians. This ancient civilization was actually really, really technologically advanced for the time. They wrote on papyrus. They had the Code of Hammurabi. Basically, they exponentially grew overnight, where they had so much technology that it rivaled almost every other nation or every other civilization on the planet. Well, like Spencer said, the Anunnaki alien race gave the Sumerians this technology, and they also gave them a Stargate in order to interdimensionally travel with with this alien race. And there's some kind of basis for this with specific pictorial references within their writing, and also within some of the monuments that they created. There was this archaeologist called Ernst Hezerl, who was looking for archaeological stuff in Ziggurat, which is about southeast of Baghdad. Basically, it comes down to that he started to find some really interesting stuff, and that could have potentially been what we consider as the Einstein-Boson Stargate. What occurred was the CIA started to get wind of this archaeological dig. And so when 9/11 happened, the CIA and FBI and basically every organization within the United States used 9/11 and the potential of WMDs to attack the region in order to obtain the Stargate. And really the WMDs that Bush was talking about was really the whole ideology of the Stargate that Saddam Hussein had. Also during that time, there was a lot of alien sightings around Baghdad, and also within the region overall. And eventually, once the war was reaching a tipping point, the CIA was finally able to recover the Stargate and move it out of Saddam Hussein's grips. So there was this quote from Dr. Michael Salla. He is considered an exopolitic, which basically means that he is a politician of the alien variety.
Whoa.
And he says, and I quote, "The Bush administration recognized that Hussein had some very, very valuable relevant information concerning the ancient history of the planets, either technology or text, basically confirming this, and he was going to release it to the general public. I think that the part of the reason why the Bush administration went to Iraq to stop Hussein from revealing this information and to also get control themselves. Another core belief of this conspiracy is that the Syrian civil war is also spawned off over the Stargate.
Also, during World War II, there was fighting between the Germans and the British in the Middle East, directly over trying to take control of that Stargate.
Dude, I buy it.
You buy it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why would you not? This is just...
Dude, that's
It's
rock
airtight.
solid.
It's
we haven't even gotten to
Yeah.
the conspiracy yet. This is just basic history.
Yeah, get to the...
Oh yeah. So the conspiracy,
The conspiracy is actually about whether or not Bush did 9/11.
plot twist.
Plot twist.
So
Y'all thought we were talking about aliens.
so what do you think?
I can't argue with history, man.
Can't argue with history.
No, this is definitely airtight.
Airtight.
Yeah.
How about you, Dax? What do you think?
Honestly, that's too far fetched.
Too far fetched?
Is
I don't see it.
Dax is our resident skeptic.
Apparently.
Jeez.
Gotta go against the status
What
quo.
a history denier.
I don't know. It seems like so far out there, but then there's also incidents like, what was that big plane that disappeared?
Malaysia.
Yeah.
Malaysia
Oh,
flight
yeah.
MH370?
Where
Was it
do you-
MH370?
I
Because
think
there
it
was
was.
the other one that also disappeared within a short
Well,
period
good
of time.
point.
It's like,
Good
man,
point.
Malaysia, you gotta get your
I
shit
think it was
together.
MH370.
Okay.
I think that's just something you got to think of though too, because it is possible, but because there are a lot of unexplanatory incidents that happen like that, like people going missing, and I mean, there's no explanation for the plane one.
What if the
because-
plane
Flew through the Stargate.
and now it's on Nibiru?
exactly?
Or what if Saddam Hussein stole a plane, took
I
it...
think that one's a little too far.
So you talk,
You know,
He-
secret planet, Stargate.
Stargate Hussein was planning on starting an alien invasion, right?
What's the impact?
It's the ultimate act of terror. Essentially disrupts civilian life, instills fear in civilians, right? Aliens exist. And they have the capability of getting to planet Earth. Shows aliens as not malignant, malicious, go over our resources and kill us. I think that is the ultimate act of terror, right?
But they aren't necessarily
So you're saying there could be the potential that they kill us?
yeah, exactly. Like they literally created humans as a slave.
I think I agree with you that it would be the ultimate act of terror.
Yeah.
I think people would be too shook. Well, actually, why didn't... Okay, so the reason why they didn't take advantage of the Stargate is because they didn't know.
You gotta sacrifice.
How do you sacrifice it? You feed the margarita to the chihuahua
Yeah,
and
you
then...
feed the margarita to the chihuahua, get it drunk.
Cheesy.
Now this is getting a little too far-fetched.
wait.
Which will be
Something's
described
gotta plug
In
in.
episode
4.
Uh,
The United States controls it, or something. And that's why we pulled out. So I do have some counterexamples to... first off, there was this person, and he basically set up this theory. They never really talk about alien technology or aliens at all specifically. They really necessarily technology or anything like that.
And really, all they say in the mythology is that, but I mean, that's a pretty common theme among all religions, really.
Exactly. But I mean, hypothetically, an alien race or deficits, or at least have some sort of signal or effect on the Earth's magnetic or any kind of waves on the Earth.
Bermuda Triangle.
Bermuda Triangle.
Cool. I like that theory. Does that exist? Now I'm fully convinced that Flight 370 from and
What about
disappeared.
Amelia Earhart? She disappeared too.
Dude, Stargate.
I'm pretty sure they found Amelia Earhart's body. Didn't they recover her plane?
JFK, Stargate.
Yeah, he teleported right as he got shot.
D.B. Cooper, the dude who stole a bunch of money off of a plane.
Definitely Stargate. Oh, I think that got
Everything is
debunked.
Stargates, just all the way
It was-
down.
It
That's
was
just a cover up.
Everything is a Stargate, all the way down.
Let me ask this hypothetical question. Do you think we survive it? Do you think we have the technology if we were all create a human alliance?
Okay, so
Would we be
here's
able
the
to
thing.
survive it?
We wouldn't know.
We wouldn't know.
Well, yeah.
we wouldn't know that we got invaded.
No, we wouldn't know how their technology compares to ours.
I don't think we survived.
You don't think so?
Here's
I
the
don't
thing,
think
though.
we'll survive.
Here's let me pitch you something. Okay, so it is generally accepted that the technology that the government or R&D departments all over the world is about 10 to 15 years ahead of what is publicly available. So think about what could we potentially have, right? Because we're having laser weapons enter field
Military
testing.
service, yeah.
Yeah, military service this year,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, like 10 years ago, that would have been unimaginable. But really, in reality, like that technology's been viable for years now. It's just now that we feel comfortable testing it in a live scenario.
So here's my thing. So there's this
Same
thing
goes
called
for like railguns.
there's this thing called the Kardashev scale, which talks about different types of civilizations.
Oh, right.
And basically
Type 3, all that.
Yeah. So basically, we are a Type 1 civilization. That means that that can relatively harm things like nuclear weapons and stuff like that. Or the home planet that they have entirely. That means that they can manipulate the weather patterns. They can manipulate like oceans and manipulate physical technology, control like the entire energy of their sun. And Type 4 civilization is a civilization that can use up all their energy within their solar system beyond. A Type 5 civilization can use their entire galaxy. Or an alien race was going to invade us, it has to be, at least by very definition, this civilization would be like a Type 3 or Type 4. That means that they would be able to completely destroy stuff.
Dude, we don't have to survive a war.
Like, because like a Stargate like bypasses all of that, right? Because that's the whole point of a
I guess
Stargate.
that's
It
true.
bypasses the laws of physics, normal physics. You know.
That's true. An alien civilization comes, they're probably going to destroy us.
Yeah.
They could just, boom, we're done.
It is what
We're
it is,
energy
man.
for them.
What's our verdict on this conspiracy theory, though? Like, on a scale of like 1 to 7, how likely is it?
I would honestly give this conspiracy theory 1 bottle cap.
1 bottle cap?
Yeah. I don't really buy it. I don't think it's very real. If we had the ability to travel interdimensionally, I think that we'd have a lot cooler technology.
Dax. Rating 1 to 7.
I give it a 2. I don't know, man. I don't think Stargates are there.
I'll go with a 1. I'm pretty sure Saddam Hussein wouldn't be the person to like have possession of it at some point.
Like who?
Me.
Let me think of a name.
Michael Jackson.
Michael. That's why it's gone.
Definitely.
That's where all the celebrities have gone. Like Tupac, he didn't die.
Dude, it's at
He went through
Neverland.
the Stargate.
It's at Neverland.
Morgan Freeman.
So who would have it,
Morgan-
Andrew?
I could buy Michael Jackson.
No.
I guess I wouldn't be surprised.
So what would you rate it, Spencer, out of 1 to 7?
I'm gonna go ahead and I'll give it a 2.5. 2.5.
2.5?
Just on the basis that I do believe that like Stargates are a physical possibility, like the Einstein-Rosen bridge, whatever. Yeah.
So we have 7.5 out of 7. So it is confirmed that this exists.
Holy shit, dude. Shook.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to the news section of the podcast. In this segment, we talk about international or domestic issues that are recently occurring. This week, we're going to talk about the trans military issue that Donald Trump recently brought into the news. And to kick this segment off, it's going to be Andrew.
Yeah. So the military ban on transgender people begins with Donald Trump, our tweeter-in-chief, sending out some tweets. This happened on July 26th, so not too long ago. So I'll go ahead and read the tweets, and then we can talk about them a little bit. So starting off, after consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military. Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail. Thank you. Any initial reactions that we have to this? Why don't we go to Dax and see what his initial reaction is?
Oh, I think it's a cover-up. I think people are so hyped about this whole transgender thing and free country thing that they're having Trump say this. It's taking everybody's minds away from something else that they're doing that they don't want anyone else to see.
The Trump administration is doing?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I buy it.
I honestly 100% agree.
It was happening right around the whole Jeff Sessions issue.
Yeah, that's true. And also the healthcare.
Yeah. I mean, this could have been a deflection and a very easy one to make.
Yeah, easy to distract the American people from what actually matters, like the healthcare bill, or I just think that it's utter and complete bullshit too. Saying that trans people who are in the military are an obscenely huge burden that the American people don't want to spend. I mean, if Donald Trump really wanted to save the American people money, then he's not going to increase the U.S. defense budget by $500 or $50 million that he's doing right now. Their spending would only make up about 0.005 or 0.017%. Overall, this is going to be small, like insignificant percentage.
Turns out like it's literally not even a real policy. Like he literally just tweeted it. Like our policy regarding trans people in the military is going to be the same as it's ever been. Mm-hmm. Well, as it has been.
Why should there even be a policy for anything like gays or transgender people? It shouldn't matter.
Or black people.
Yeah.
That was a policy in the United States
sure
military.
Was. Yeah.
That black people could not serve in the United States military, even though literally they served during the American Civil War.
Yeah.
And the American Revolutionary War.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, like, as far as I'm concerned, if someone's willing to pick up a gun and go fight in a war, like, one, you're braver than I am. I'm not, like, one that would be, like, supportive of many wars that the United States would get into. But, I mean, if you're willing to do it, good for you.
Not to mention that, like, there's so much, like, when he says military, like, obviously, like, he doesn't specify what he means. But, like, for example, like, the Coast Guard is technically a part of the armed forces, right? Like,
I wrote down, like, a ton of different arguments against it. This issue creates a lot of different problems that I have a lot of arguments about. I think it's inherently problematic. Like, a military ban on a certain group of people is such a controversial policy that getting it out in 140 characters, or in this case, he did it in multiple tweets, so more than 140 characters. But, I mean, you're going to leave so much room for speculation and scrutiny that you're just not going to be able to, like, get your full statement out. So, one, you shouldn't be tweeting policy. It should be done through the proper channels. Two, it's become clear now that the Joint Chiefs of Staff didn't even get word of it before he tweeted it out. So we don't know how this policy came about. He says that he talked to his closest military experts and generals.
My question is, what time did he tweet this out?
Was
it around his golden hour of 4 a.m.?
It says 8:55 a.m. I don't know if this was from somebody who was in, like, a different time zone, though. And I don't know how it shows up on Twitter. But usually,
I assume that it's Eastern Standard Time because that's where he's physically located.
Okay, actually, it was started at 6:55 a.m.
Classic.
Yeah. General rule of thumb, if he tweets it before 9 a.m., it's bad.
If he tweets it at all, it's bad. Usually.
I mean, he's got some decent tweets, but
the only good one recently is Kafif.
Yeah, that one's a good one. Yeah, so I think in addition to that, the president has a burden of proof of explaining, like, why this policy came about. He talks about the costs that medical personnel or that of medical treatment for transgender individuals would entail. I think what he means is, like, gender reassignment surgery, which I don't even know that the military covers it right now.
They do because it was, oh god, when was that policy changed? It was changed a couple years ago to be included as, like, a medically necessary, defined as like a medically necessary surgery.
Yeah, I mean, Erik already talked about some of the statistics behind, like, the costs that Trump talks about, but also it came out recently that the military spends a tremendous amount of money on erectile dysfunction pills for military members, which is just absurd in itself.
I think that even when it comes down to it, a lot of trans people aren't going to necessarily want gender reassignment surgery. I mean, there's some, full-blown gender reassignment surgery.
Sure.
I think that the Trump administration is just blowing the whole situation out of proportion.
I guess what Trump doesn't realize is that transgender people have been serving in the military and other militaries for forever.
I mean, what stops like me from signing up for the military?
Yeah.
And what if I personally view myself as a female? Yeah. I am, in a sense, transgendered. Am I not allowed to serve in the military? I act like a male, but intrinsically, I think I'm a female. And there could be dozens upon hundreds of thousands of active servicemen, women, who think the same way that, this hypothetical scenario could be.
Yeah. Who don't openly identify as trans.
And then it leads back to the whole thing, like, don't ask, don't tell, when, like, gay people would sign up for the military. But no, don't talk about it because you're not allowed to serve in the military.
Well, I mean, the real question is, why does being trans impede your ability to carry out the responsibilities and duties of being in the military? I don't think it does. There's nothing that would tell me about being transgender that would impede your ability to do that.
I don't know. Everyone's human.
There you go.
I don't get it. It's just, I think if you're going to fight for your country, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
That doesn't matter that they want to be what they want to be. I don't know. It's just, just bullshit. I mean, Trump, I swear, it's a cover-up. They're doing something else right now. They're trying to get our minds off of it. They did that with the whole gay parades and everything like that. They made a big deal over that because there was probably something else going on.
Well, I mean, like, Trump has a lot to try to deflect from. Every single day, there's something new about the Russia investigation. You know, he has the incentive to create some sort of diversion. So
I totally agree with that.
I totally agree with Dax. It very well could be.
So here's a different perspective that I got from someone who is currently active in the service.
Oh, is it Steven?
Yeah, Steven.
Nice.
So one of my friends is currently attending a military academy in New York, and he's asked a lot of people what they think about the whole transgender military. He said specifically that most people within the military do care that transgender individuals are serving in the military and that they don't like them. They don't like them either because they're extremely, extremely liberal usually.
Yeah, I mean, like, the military is, like, a pretty, like...
It's pretty conservative, machismo area. Exactly, Spencer. They think that trans people shouldn't serve in the military. They physically aren't able to serve in the military because they are weaker mentally or physically because their bodies are transitioning.
That is in the Army specifically, which
yes.
I know, at least in the Air Force, I know, like, the Air Force is a lot more openly supportive.
Yeah, my friend is specifically within the Army section. He says that a lot of people at the academy that he is in, that people don't care if someone is gay, but they definitely do care if someone's transitioning. And it makes them feel uncomfortable for a variety of reasons. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that they don't care that someone's, of a different sexual orientation, but they definitely aren't 100% approval of it.
Yeah.
What it came down to is I asked the question, I'm like, okay, Steven, what if, like this whole thing that I talked about, like, what if I'm transitioning, like, in my head, like, I'm a woman in my head? And he said, it doesn't matter because you shut up about it and you don't talk about it, right? And then I'm like, okay, well then how about this whole don't ask, don't tell thing? He's like, Erik, it comes down to what the military society or what the military environment is all about. And he said, I personally don't care, but I know that a lot of people who are in my battalion would not feel comfortable, would not want someone who's transgender in there. And then he said, look, in about 10, 15 years down the line, no one will give a fuck. It'll just be like how people of different sexual orientations are within the military now.
Yeah.
And I told him, like, Steven, that's kind of shitty, right? Because there's these trans people who really want to be a part and they want to save and help their country. And he said, if I could change it, I would, but fundamentally it's the other people and it's something that just has to be shoved down their throat and they'll get over it. And I also talked to his dad about it, and his dad is very conservative, very machismo kind of guy, and he said that he doesn't really care that much about trans people. All that he cares about is how much time is taken up out of his day-to-day because they have to go through new policy orientations about, dealing with trans people within the workplace, using specific pronouns. And I think that's where a lot of military leaders could get upset because you're a governmental agency who's never seen wartime, who's a civilian. There are civilians who are going into your workplace and they're telling you, hey, you need to stop saying guy. You need to stop saying girl. You need to say person. You need to say service people. You need to say recruit and cadet. And you cannot use gendered language anymore. You know what a military person is going to say? Fuck you. Go run some laps.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. That's actually really interesting. On the radio show I work for, we got a lot of voicemails and comments from people that were in the military that essentially they would argue that so long as you're able to shoot and you shoot well, like, who cares who you are?
I was gonna say that's the other one that I've heard is like from the less like hardcore conservative from in the military is that like they literally they couldn't care less like who you are in terms of like like gender orientation, sexual orientation. As long as you do your job and do it well,
go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I know, and that's really what my friend is all about. He's like, I really honestly don't care who they are as a human being, as long as they can keep up with me and they can meet their minimum requirements and they can shoot a gun.
Yeah.
And see, that's where I'm at. Like, I'm pretty fucking liberal.
Yeah.
So it's like,
basically.
Thanks, Spencer, for the reality check.
Any final thoughts about that before we move on to one more piece of news?
I don't know. It's just still a bunch of bullshit, and I don't think
Word.
he should be tweeting still.
Yeah.
You think that he should have his Twitter account removed?
Yes.
Stay off Twitter. That's Dax's hashtag. Then I guess the last piece of news that we can talk about, I guess it's two different things, but essentially the same thing. We recorded the last podcast last Thursday or so. Friday, happened during the day, a White House chief of staff was removed from office, essentially, and replaced by General John F. Kelly. The previous chief of staff was Reince Priebus. And so this comes on the heels of the Sean Spicer resignation. And today, Anthony Scaramucci, who's only been in office for like 10 days, resigned, was more like forcibly resigned, as the White House communications director. So I think we should consult Dax's political expert opinion on this. Any thoughts on why they might leave? What's going on in the White House, Dax? What are you hearing from there?
There's just nothing good going on. No one's having like a good time. It sounds like we're all... It's just a shit show. It seems like we're all
Sure is.
unorganized and we're not like the best country in the world anymore because of all this bullshit that's happening.
Yeah.
It's not fair for anyone else, and we shouldn't be lied to and being turned around every time and people leaving. It's just...
Yeah, I mean, the White House looks like it's becoming a revolving door of people coming in and out, you know, having a job for a few days and getting ousted when they screw up or something happens when Trump doesn't like him anymore.
I just think that the White House image at this point is gonna be... I mean, at this point, it's almost completely and utterly decimated.
Yeah.
I think if people keep... if the turnover rate is extremely high, the highest that I've literally ever seen. I mean, this is coming from someone who doesn't know very much about how often people are turned over in the White House. Yeah. But the status quo from other countries is that people stay for a long time, and it just... the high turnover rate is just absolutely decimating the White House's image.
Sure.
And eventually the White House's credibility will almost become zero. And at this point, I honestly think that it's terminalizing towards it. That we are in the last 20% of the White House's image, and other countries are going to usurp us as the global hegemon, at least politically. Maybe not militaristically or economically, but countries are going to usurp us politically.
I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we can fix things. But I hope we can be optimistic about it at least.
Optimism is dead.
Yeah.
You laugh, but it's true.
No, I lean towards that way too, unfortunately.
I also think that Donald Trump is a very president. Thank you.
Yes.
I think that Donald Trump is a very difficult president to work under and to work with, especially because it becomes like like you said, a revolving door or a fire that just keeps fueling itself.
You're right. All right. Well, remember that if you like us, feel free to drop a favorite, like, or whatever you need to show your appreciation. You can find us on SoundCloud, YouTube. We're on iTunes now, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, and of course, if you want us to talk about a specific conspiracy or domestic or international issue, feel free to comment us, telling us what you want us to talk about. Maybe next week we can do something not Trump related.
Our inspiration from this week came from a person named John Wild. So thanks for that wild thing that you had us researching about the topic. And special shout out to Brian Taylor, who gave some extra insight about the Mandela effect relations and how it related to the European Organization of Nuclear Research, known as CERN, in first video on YouTube. Also, you can comment on the general podcast, telling us how awesomely caused me to lose sleep at night. Don't forget to subscribe so you stay up to date on Apple's podcast at Outside the Box. And do y'all want to plug your social medias?
You can follow my Finsta, Thotimus Prime, some zeros and ones in there.
You can go ahead and look me up on Twitter at Thought Cheetos. It's THOT. I'll be setting up a Twitter account later tonight. I haven't decided on like the name and stuff.
And see you next week.
Stay outside.